This is Margaret and welcome to my channel Grammar Buzz Learning Made Easy. Cool! Hey, thanks for joining me today. Today we are going to learn about tense. Tense time travel, you see? So much fun! We are going to travel in time today. But first, we want to know about the lesson objectives, right? So let us find out what the lesson aims at. This lesson aims at helping us to know what are tenses and identify them by the end of this video. Well, today I'm about to begin this video in a rather unusual way. I'm in a different mood altogether. I feel like telling you a story. Hey, don't you enjoy stories? So, are you ready for the story? Shall we begin? Alright, here we go. And here's the picture of a boy. Let's call him Jim. Let's give him the name Jim. Jim is a young boy. He looks rather sad because he is away from his family. He studies in a boarding school away from his parents. One day, Jim gets to meet a fairy. And do you know what is she called? Any guesses? No? Alright. Everyone called her the Tense Fairy, as she could actually travel in time. Hey, that's great, don't you think so? Jim had read about her in his class. So on seeing her, he feels maybe the Tense Fairy can help him meet his parents, as he misses them a lot. He requests her to take him back to his family. But the Tense Fairy tells him that she cannot do so. She cannot take him to his parents because that is beyond her powers. But on seeing Jim sad, she pities him and offers him something else instead. Do you know what did she say? Well, she tells him she can't take him to his parents, but she could certainly show him his past, present, and future. Jim feels elated and agrees to her offer. So, the Tense Fairy helps Jim to travel back in time when he was a baby and he was with his parents. She shows him the time when his parents were with him. Jim was 3 years old. He sat on his father's arms. His parents loved him. Dad walked him to the park. Jim feels excited. But when Jim realizes about his present, he becomes sad again. He is just 9. He realizes that he is alone. He feels lost and he begins to cry. But the Tense Fairy tries to cheer him up by taking him to his future. She shows him that in future he will be 20 years old. He will be a graduate. He will live with his family and everyone will be proud of him. Hearing this, Jim becomes happy and promises the Tense Fairy that he will never ever be sad again. Hey, did you enjoy the story? Did you enjoy it? Wasn't it a good story? Well, I sure enjoyed saying it to you. So, the Tense Fairy helps Jim to travel in time. The Tense Fairy is related to time, just like the Tense Fairy who helped Jim to travel in time. In English grammar too, we have tenses. In English grammar, tense is related to time. Tense are used to show when an action takes place. So remember, tense is related to time and they are used to show when an action takes place. Okay, time for me to share some interesting facts about tenses. Let's try and understand them with the help of some examples. And look at this picture. It's a picture of a boy. Well, let's call him Jim. And our sentence says, Jim was 3 years old. Jim was 3 years old. From this sentence, we can understand that it is telling us about Jim when he was a boy. It's telling us about the past time. So this sentence is in the past tense. Okay, what about this one? And our sentence says, Jim is 9 years old. Jim is 9 years old. So now, Jim has grown up to be a 9-year-old young boy. From this sentence, we can understand that it is telling us about Jim in the present time, that is, now. It's telling us about the current time. So this sentence is in the present tense. Remember, present tense tells us about the present time. What about this one? It's the picture of a young man. Okay, let's make a sentence with it. And our sentence says, Jim will be 20 years old. Jim will be 20 years old. Here the sentence gives us information about Jim many years later. That is, he will be 20 years old later in the years, but not now. So the sentence is about the future, which means later. So the sentence is in the future tense. Now, let us look at all the three sentences side by side. And that is, Jim was 3 years old. Jim is 9 years old. Jim will be 20 years old. In all the three sentences, we are getting some information about the same person, Jim. The three sentences are telling us something about him, but at different times. That is, when he was 3 years old, when he is 9 years old, and when he will be 20 years old. But what is the difference in these three sentences? What is really changing in these sentences? What is it that is making a difference in the meaning of the sentences? What is it? Well, it is the change in the form of verbs. The change in the form of the be verb. That is, was, is, and will be. So the three be verbs are telling us about Jim at different times. Was tells us about the past, is tells us about the present, and will be tells us about the future. So actually, it's only the verb that is changing its form depending on the time change. Hey, isn't that really easy to remember? So, you need to note that verbs change depending on the time of action or state. Remember, verbs actually change their form depending on the time of action or state. Well, you need to remember certain things about tenses, and let's see what it is. We need to remember that we need to look at a verb to understand its tense. Yes, that's all you need to remember. You need to have a close look at a verb in order to understand its tense or the time it states. Alright, time for some examples. And what do we have here? It's the picture of a sweet little girl brushing her teeth. And that's our sentence. It says, I brush my teeth. I brush my teeth. It means that I brush my teeth regularly. I brush my teeth every day. So the sentence which shows that things happen generally or regularly are always in the present tense. So present tense are used to talk about habitual actions general actions or regular actions. We brush our teeth. I brush my teeth. You brush your teeth. They brush their teeth. So it is a regular habitual action. So it is in the present tense. Present tense is also used for general statements. Remember that. Alright, time for the next example. And it says, I brushed last night. I brushed last night. Okay, you tell me, what is the tense in this sentence? What is it? Yeah? You are right. Yes, it is past tense. Last night tells us about a time that has already passed. It is over and done with. That is in the past. So the past tense is used to talk about an action that takes place in the past, right? That has taken place earlier in time or before this moment in time. Last night is in the past, so I brushed last night is also in the past tense. Simple, right? Okay, let's try the next one. And here's the picture of a smiling boy holding a brush, and our sentence says, I will brush my teeth later. I will brush my teeth later. So later is telling us that the action of brushing will happen later in time and not at this moment. So later is a word used for future tense. So the sentence, I'll brush my teeth later, is in future tense. Will is used to show actions that will happen or might take place later in time. So we see future tense is used to show an action that will take place sometimes later than now or in the future. That's really simple to understand, isn't it? So it's time for us to remember. And what do we need to remember? Well, all we need to remember is tense is related to time. Verbs tell us about the tenses. And there are three forms of tenses. They are past, present, and future. Yay! Congratulate yourself. Pat yourself. You did it. Yay! You did it. You were there with me all throughout this video. And it's time for the tense game. That's the most exciting part of the video. I really love this section. What about you? And this is how it works. I will be showing you a sentence and you will have to identify it at present, past, or future tense. Alright? Are we ready for it? Are you ready for it? I think you are. So here comes the first one for you. And it says, I meet my grandparents every week. I meet my grandparents every week. What do you think about this sentence? In which tense is this in? Can you tell me that? Have you got it all right? I think you have. Good job. And it is in present tense. I meet my grandparents every week is a regular action that I do. So it must be in present tense. Good job. And here comes the next one for you. It says, I saw a movie yesterday. Well, what about this sentence? What is the tense of this sentence? I saw a movie yesterday. Hey, take a close look at the verb. And I think you have already spotted it, and you are right. It is in the past tense. The word saw and the word yesterday tells us about an action that has already taken place in the past. So the sentence is in the past tense. Good job. And here comes the next one for you. It says, he washed his car. He washed his car. Well, what about this sentence? What do you think? What is the tense of this sentence? You know what to look out for? Well, check out for the verb. And what is it? Can you tell me? Alright, good job. You have nailed it, and it is also in the past tense. This sentence too is in the past tense. The verb washed tells us about an action that had taken place in the past time. It's done and over with. Good job. And here's the next one for you. It says, she will write the letter after lunch. She will write the letter after lunch. Hey, what about this one? What is the tense of this sentence? Can you spot it for me? Can you? I think you already have because you're a real gem. You are a smart one. And yes, the sentence is in future tense. The word will tells us that the action is going to take place later in time and not at the present moment. Good job. And here's the last one for you. Eric loves to read books. Eric loves to read books. What about this sentence? What do you think? What is the tense of this sentence? Well, note, this is a general truth about Eric. So, what should this sentence be? Good job. Yes, it is in the present tense. Bravo, you have nailed it. Good job. And that was a really fantastic job that you did. Hope this video helped you understand what are tenses and how we use them for different times. If you have any questions at all, you know what to do. Just pop them in the comment box below and I will surely get back to you. Well, thanks for watching. And don't forget to like, comment and share my videos. This is Margaret signing off for today. Take care of yourself and bye. And again, don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe to my channel.